You are watching or listening to Purham and Associates. For more information, go to rpurham.com or follow me on all social media platforms and subscribe at RPURHAM. Thanks. See you over there. Hey, good day to you all. Welcome to Permanent Associates. I'm your host, Randy Purham. Although you just see me yesterday. Hey, I hope y'all are doing all right, and you're continuing on with this fantastic week of whatever it is that's going on in your neck of the woods. But hey, we got I got my good friend Tiffany, co-host, here with me today. We finna jump into some stuff. Um, there's a lot going on, but we're only going to highlight a few things today because we was talking earlier today and decided that we need to talk about this tonight or today and get this out there because it's very important because a lot of people are losing their damn minds and it is what it is. How you doing?
Well, let me just say, you are losing your mind. I'm trying to keep it together over here. I'm not losing it, but I'm keeping it together. How about that?
I agree. I'm losing my mind because people are losing their minds and just like ah. But how's it going? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Well, I'm still here in this hot city of, or hot state of Nevada, city of Las Vegas, and it is hot. It is just, I mean, it wasn't as hot as it was last year, so I shouldn't be complaining, but we have had 112-degree days and 100-degree nights, and there just seems to be no reprieve, but all good. This comes with the territory of being here and living here.
Just the other day, actually, over the weekend, took my in-laws. They wanted to go to Oklahoma. They're elderly, of course, and they didn't want to drive. So my wife and we drove them to Oklahoma, up to the casino. Transparency, to the casino, and as on one of my gas pit stops, there was a gentleman that he was pumping his gas, and he was right next to my pump, and so we was just chatting while we was pumping gas, and he was actually on his way to Las Vegas, and he was going there for work, and he said he'll be there for 2 weeks and everything else, and he had like a little I want to say it was a Mustang. He had a Mustang that he had rebuilt. So he was basically testing out the engine for the drive up there. I said, "You brave." He was like, "Yeah, we'll see what happens." So I was just like, "Okay." I said, "Well, good luck on your journey. Yeah, I hope you make it." So it was just interesting that it's a small world that I'm down here in Texas and met a guy that's on his way to Las Vegas, and he was like, "It's hot up there," and I was like, "Yeah." So. Hopefully your AC works. He's like, yeah, it's blowing pretty good right now, but we'll see. So, but anyways, I want to get into talking about presidential powers. Okay, a lot of people are conflating and over exaggerating that President Trump is abusing his powers and this, that, and the third, and he's being he's being a fascist, authoritarian, this, that, and the third. And my simple argument for the last few days on Facebook, ironically, folks, I'm always arguing on Facebook. But on Facebook, because
True.
I have friends, I'm not gonna say friends, but I accept friend requests from Democrats, because I want to have a diverse,
Right.
or an array of people to converse with, and some of them, they get a wild hair up their ass and they decide they want to debate me for some reason, to their own demise. But okay, whatever. but, but either way. Some of them, they come on and they try to do this Trump bashing thing like it's going to affect me personally or something. I don't know, but the running theme is that he's being an authoritarian, he's being a fascist, and I'm like, okay, I am too. What's your point? and, and, and here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. It's not about being an authoritarian. It's about enforcing the law. It's about abiding by
Yes.
the rules. It's about having that discipline in the course of your duties. And with that, you're doing your job. Okay, so these people are
Mm-hmm.
literally mad that he's doing his job, versus the previous administration. They didn't do their job. They actually slept on the job, quite literally. And so they don't understand the difference between the two. And they're like, well, he's doing things, he's being corrupt and he's doing things illegally. And I'm like, what has he done that was illegal? Because everything that the courts stopped him from doing, all these little specialized organizations and litigative groups, they put in these requests. They're court shopping to find a judge that will side with them, and they put in this
Mm-hmm.
injunctions to stop him from doing something. But then when he appeals it, he wins because it is within his constitutional authority to do these things. It may not be popular, but nonetheless, it is within his power scope to do it. That doesn't make you an authoritarian. That makes you a person that is exercising your right within your job description to do something. So
Yes.
I just want to get your thoughts on that, Tiff.
Well, he is coming to do a job. He's here in the office to do the job of the president, and that he is. And you and I talked about all the changes that would take place probably like 3 or 4 months ago, and we said, don't be alarmed. The changes are going to take place, but we're resilient enough to go through this whole process.
Hmm.
He's doing what a president should do, in my opinion. He's like the people we're talking about, the food, the lack of food thereof, or the price increases in food, and what are we going to do, and what it means to their families. And he looked at that whole situation, and maybe he didn't approach it the way other people thought he should, but he's a businessman looking at it from a businessman perspective, and he's saying, okay, it's not traditional to do it the way that we've done it. It hasn't worked. So let's look at the tariff situation. Let's look at the immigration situation. Let's look at all these areas that are really impacting the United States.
Hmm.
Now, it's not the most popular at all. It's not the most popular
Right.
thing to do. And the way that he actually does things is really contrary to what most presidents have done in the past. But, he does go through protocol. He does address it. He tries to get people to work with him. And then when they don't, then he's like, okay, I just now have to get it done.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to vote or do what you want to do on your time when the people are suffering. So the bottom line, if people don't think that he is for you, he actually is. The
Yeah.
way he may be going about it may not be the way you think he should, but yet he's still getting the job done. He's still keeping his promises.
No, I agree. I agree, and it's funny because they're talking about the big beautiful bill and how he's kicking, or Congress is kicking 17 million every week. The numbers fluctuate, and it's like you don't even know what the damn numbers are. So why are you spitting out numbers that 17 million people are going to be kicked off of Medicaid? It's like, how do you know that? Did y'all already run? Did y'all already go into the database and see, like, select these people and then put it into the bill and say, okay, this is the list of people that's going to be kicked off of Medicaid? Hey, okay, whatever. But this example of Medicaid, right? 17 million people get kicked off of Medicaid. Republicans are horrible with messaging, by the way, and they're saying, well, it's the illegals and people that are unqualified to be on Medicaid that will be kicked off. And then Democrats are like, well, they how do you know that they're unqualified? It's like, we already identified that they're unqualified, so they're getting kicked off. Hello. and now that's a problem. It's a problem because these people have been in the system for so long that they're dependent on it. And if we kick them off, that would be cruel and heartless. It's like, no, your ass shouldn't have been on it in the first place. So, like, what are we talking about here? So, I get it. I get it. We try to be compassionate and caring and loving and all of that. But at the same token, to what to what ends does that achieve when you're doing that? When you're allowing people to game the system, to fraud the system, and say, well, they've been on it for so long that they're dependent on it, so let's just leave them on there. No. It's just like me saying, like, okay, I'm going to go rob a bank because I need the money, but I've been doing it for so long that, I shouldn't go to jail because I've been robbing banks all my life. And, just let me be because I'm not hurting you. No, make it make sense. So, to me, the Democrats have this very warped vision of how society should be ran. And I come to learn here, being in Austin, Texas, being in a super liberal city, that they don't live under the very things that they espouse, that they support, that they advocate for. They don't live under it because they go into their little gated communities and they lock their doors, they close their windows, they shut their blinds, and they turn on CNN or MSNBC and they soak in all this stuff, and they're totally attuned from what is going on around them. And they go to work and they come home and that's all they do. They don't actually go out and actually deal with the things or deal with the problems that is going on. Otherwise, they would be like, you know what? Hey, we need to put a clamp down on this crime because my tires just got stolen off my car.
Well,
or hey, I just got shot at, or I just got mugged.
Well, they do. Well, no, they do that in their own ways, and they do it through town hall meetings, and the town hall meetings last like 4 hours, and they get cursed out every time because they're not doing what they need to do, and people get mad, and then there's there's security, all kinds of stuff happens if you've ever been to a town hall. I've been to quite a few.
I was at one last week.
They go.
Yeah, and to be transparent with the audience today. This was the first. Last week was the first time I actually been to a city level town hall meeting by one of the city council members that was being held. Although it wasn't in my district, it was in another district. But I went because I was like, you know what, I need to be a little bit more involved and have a little bit more of a knowledge base on what's going on locally. I don't really care generally about what's going on locally. I deal with state, federal, county, state, federal stuff. And so the local stuff, I'm just like, whatever, because shit rolls downhill, and it's gonna affect the local stuff anyway. So I just cut out the middleman. But I went to this town hall, and it was very eye opening. And you're right, there's a lot of shouting going on, and there's a lot of control, as to who could come in, who could say what. They want you to write down your question on a piece of paper, and maybe you will be gotten to. And the council member will answer your question, ask the question, answer type of thing. And I saw this, and then finally towards the end, there was a few people that stood up and they kind of like just shouted their question, and they kind of like demanded an answer, and he was just like basically like, "Yeah, I hear you, but I don't care."
No,
It was so many words. It was very diplomatic. It was very diplomatic, but I read right through it. I was like, ooh, very good. And the person was like, and they just sat back down. And I'm just like, I would have did that totally differently. I'd be like, no, you're not going to blow me off. You need to answer the damn question. But
Oh, no, what they would have done to you, Randy, was to tell you to go talk to their assistant. Because that is key for I don't want to deal with what you have to say
right.
right now.
And then
Talk to my assistant.
yes, and there was assistants running around the room trying to calm me down and say, "Ma'am, just give me a call tomorrow." And it's like, no, I'm not going to give you a call because you're not going to answer your phone or you're going to blow me off. No, I'm not. You need to answer this right now. We're here in the present right now. Answer the question. And they'd have been like, they wouldn't know what to do with me. They'd be like, this guy. So, and I get it. I get it. It's politics. And this town hall was about the city budget. And so I believe it was today or yesterday. I don't know because once again I don't keep up with the local stuff too much. They had their actual full panel, city council meeting, and it was like a packed house. I've seen it on social media and stuff. And I'm like, see, that's why I don't go up there. That's why I don't get involved in that because you got all these people in the room waiting to, queued up to speak and, talk about the budget and go into their little tangents about how it affects their dog Milo and all this stuff. I don't care. It's at the end of the day, if you're going to vote a certain way on something that's going to affect the constituents, then and it's a adverse thing, then you need to be held accountable to that and voted out of office, or you need to explain as to why you chose that. You thought that was the right thing to do. We don't get that in civics today because people today are not smart enough to engage in that spectrum. Not enough people, anyways. So I say all that to say that when you're talking about authoritarianism, the Democrat Party fails to see that taking shape within their own party. They see it from an outside source like the Republican Party, the president, and whatever else. But when it's happening to them, they ignore it. And then they say, "Well, look at what the president's doing. Look at what." It's like, okay, the president actually is not affecting you right now.
Right.
These guys are raising your taxes by $300 every month. You should be saying something to them. The president's trying to lower your taxes. These jokers are trying to raise your taxes. So why are you not mad at them? And then you go into this whole circular firing squad of, well, President Trump is bad, Orange Man bad. And it's like, you still didn't answer the question. Why are you not mad at the city council for raising your taxes?
Well, you know why. Especially because if you're getting something from, some kind of monetary, I won't even say gift, but, something monetary from the government, then, you're going to probably with that particular administration or that party. And a lot of people, do that. Yeah. And they do that because I don't know if they feel like they can't get a job. They don't want to work. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it's a whole bunch of things, a variety of things. But, you should be, if you're 30 and you're still on food stamps and you're still on welfare, there should be a time when you want to get off of it, right? Now, this has been inherited through your parents and your parents' parents, and you've been collecting, everyone in your family has been collecting for generations. It's time for you to reconsider your life. You know what I'm saying? At this point, you should want to earn a living to support yourself. And then if you're thinking about supporting other people and getting married, that goes in alignment with all that. But most people don't. They'd rather sit at home, do whatever they do, and not take the action towards improving their lives. And there's something to be said about earning something, right?
Yes, I agree with you 1,000%. And it's funny that you mention that because there are some people that are in this very position that you're talking about. that justify not working, justify being on welfare, justify being, part of this system that they shouldn't be a part of whatsoever. They don't even qualify technically to be a part of these systems. And they justify it by saying that, well, I was a victim once of whatever, and this is what I'm owed. So I'm going to take advantage of what it is that I'm owed because I feel like I'm owed these things, although I don't qualify for these things. And I sit back and I just look at the commentary of these said people, and I just say to myself, well, wow, how can I take advantage of that? How can I get on food stamps? How can me as a black man in America, how can I get food stamps at 45 years old? I just want to know. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me out. I want food stamps. Period. I don't care. I like to eat. Okay, so I want food stamps. I want to know how I can get food. How can I qualify for food stamps? Because if we're gonna allow people who are unqualified, who don't work, who don't do shit, get these things, then I should have it too. The hell with it. That's just the way I look at it. If you're gonna give it away, give it to me too. I've worked, damn near all my life. I worked. I think I earned it. Give me some food stamps. Give me $400. Give me $400 a month, and we'll call it good. Is that your phone ringing or is that on my end?
That's probably on your end. There's nothing ringing over here.
Okay, somebody's calling me on. I think somebody's calling me. Hold on a second. That's weird.
Well, I mean, there's a lot that goes on over there. People call in.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
People want to talk to you.
Yeah. People
right now.
Yes. Yeah. It was on my Signal app on my computer. It was somebody calling me, and I didn't realize that. Okay. Anyways, but yeah, I think when we talk about being on welfare and stuff like that, and people that don't qualify for it, and now you're getting kicked off of it. Now you want to scream foul and say, "Oh my, I've been on it for so long. I can't go get a job because I don't have any skills to get a job."
Well, right,
because I've been in the system for so long. Generationally, I've been in the system for so long, and so tough titty. As my fifth grade teacher used to say to us, and she literally said that to us in class. It was like, oh. So, your thoughts?
Well, I believe that at some point in people's lives, they need some help, right?
Mm-hmm.
They might need some help from the government, and that's great. And the government is there to assist you with that. Right. I don't believe that it should be long term. I believe it should be capped and, according to each situation. And, I don't know if you know this or if I've discussed this with you. I sit on different panels from time to time. And a few years ago, I sat on a panel and Democrats on one side, Republicans on the other side. And, we brought up topics that were similar, like food stamps and welfare, and everyone agreed that there should be a time, there's going to be a time that you might need assistance from the government. The difference is that one group said, let's cap it so that other people can benefit, while the others just didn't have an answer and just thought that they could continue to do it because that was their right.
Yeah,
we both believe in a lot of the same things. We really do. But it's having that conversation to understand that we do. We're not really that separated. We're not. We as human beings, we all want the same things, right? We all want peace. We want security. We want to be able to afford a nice lifestyle. That's given. Yep. That's a given. Yeah. But, all this stuff in the media pits everyone against one another. But if you really sit down at the table, we all agree on the same topics, just different variations of it, maybe different caps, but
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, here's my thing. If you are a creative person and you're sitting on the couch and you're talking about praying to God about, I just need to make this record, or I need to, create this drawing or draw or paint or whatever it is that you really want to do, go ahead and do it. Don't sit on the couch and expect that it's just going to come out of nowhere. This whole creative thought that you have, or your innovation is just going to be done just because you prayed and God's going to come and drop something from the sky. It doesn't really happen like that. So maybe if you look at the positive of getting off of welfare and food stamps, it is to allow you to do the things that you're purposed here to do. How can you do something if you're being led to sit somewhere on a couch or not utilize what God has given you, right? It's all about action.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a good thing. It's a good thing that you don't stay on the couch.
Yeah. Faith without works is dead.
Is dead.
It's in the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. Faith, you can sit there and say, well, I pray. I pray to my God. I pray to Jesus that, today, he's going to come through for me. If you ain't working towards whatever it is that you're trying to get done, then it ain't going to get done. By the grace of whoever. It's just, it's mind blowing to me. You gotta invest in yourself. Number one, first and foremost.
Exactly.
You have to invest in yourself. You have to invest. See, God, Jesus, your Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, whoever you want to believe in, whatever you want to believe in, they ain't gonna sit on the sideline until you do something. It's like, why am I finna put in the work and you ain't doing anything? This is for you, not for me. I'm
right.
Good. I'm chilling. You need this, so you need to do the work. That applies to everything in life. And so people kill me with that. I'll just be like,
no, I know they God isn't, as they say, action. He's all about action too. Exactly. He just doesn't sit there and just say, don't utilize what I've given you. It's like you already have it. Jesus came, he died on the cross, he transferred the power to you to do greater things. Now, my question is, why are you not doing it?
Exactly.
And I understand it's hard at times and that there's a challenge and all that. I get that. But you should have enough faith, or right? Your faith. It's about strengthening your faith and wanting to move in that direction. And so, my thing is, and I've been in the community for some time, and that's how I go to these town hall meetings, because they're concerned about things that other neighborhoods may not have to deal with, like trash pickup in their neighborhood. Right. They call 311, nothing's happening. Like going back to the town hall meetings, that's exactly kind of like what happens. But also in the community, you see all these churches on every corner. And I'm trying to figure out why, if we have the churches as a resource to direct people to do what they're purposed to do, why do we have the results that we have? I'm just saying. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Tiffany, I'm not even going to touch on that topic right now today. We're just not. because this is a family-friendly show for the most part.
I know, but I'm just asking.
It's PG-13 a little bit, but
wasn't my question PG-13 though? It was PG-13. I'm just asking the question.
No, I agree with you 100%.
That's all.
We got churches on every corner in the United States virtually, and we are in the condition that we're in. Why? Hey, look, I get it. I hear you.
Help me out, Randy. Help me out.
Like I said, we're gonna save that one for next week or so, because that's gonna take up the whole show. Because that right there, yeah, I know. Yeah, I hear you. I got it. And the whole that whole idea of community versus well, I ain't gonna say community, but the whole idea of personal responsibility and looking at
Yes.
how the government is interdicting into our livelihoods, and
Mm-hmm.
they're saying like, oh, well, Trump is doing this, Trump is doing that, and it's like, okay, DC federalization, for example, he said, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you know what, I'm enacting, we're gonna under such and such of the United States Code, such and such, whatever law that they enact, they are invoking that they're going to federalize DC because of the rampant crime. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a proponent of utilizing the National Guard for this purpose because it's not that serious. But I see what they're doing. I get what they're doing. It's a shock and awe thing. It's like, okay, we're gonna go
Mm-hmm.
all out full blitzkrieg on DC to make a point that we can bring the full weight of the entire government on a city if we want to, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, and I get it, but it's a little exaggerated. But all in all, when you think about it, you look at the reaction to it. People are like, well, if he could do that to DC, just think about what he could do to every city in America. Oh my God, he's really trying to be a dictator. It's like, guys, look at the bigger picture for a second. If there is this, I'm not going to say rampant crime, because crime is crime at the end of the day, and it's always high somewhere. But you got this crime spree that's going on. No different in Chicago, New York, LA,
Mm-hmm.
Seattle, Austin. And just matter of fact, just the other day we had a broad daylight shooting go on, type of thing. No different than any other place, right? If he says, "Hey, I'm going to make an example out of DC for the rest of the nation to realize like what we can do," people are like, "Well, see, he's trying to be a dictator." It's like, no, he's not trying to be a dictator. He's basically giving you the heads up that if you don't get your crap together with all these killings and crime and being soft on crime
Mm-hmm.
policies and letting
Mm-hmm.
people out, we're going to come in and take over and put things in order because we're giving you the opportunity to do it. You refuse to do it. This is what it's going to look like. Curfews, people kicking in your doors at random times of the day and night, looking for contraband and everything else. This is what can happen to you if you don't get your crap together. I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. Why? Because it's very simple. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, ladies and gentlemen. For the last few decades, DC, City Council, the mayor, and all of them, they have been playing stupid games with the policies and letting kids off for murder, for carjackings, and all this stuff. So now they feel emboldened, these kids, they feel emboldened that, hey, we can't be touched, nothing's going to happen to us. We're just going to continue to do it. Versus, hey, we have a problem. These kids are getting out of control. Let's reverse these policies and put a clamp down on this stuff so we can nip it in the butt. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to double down on our stupidity. Fine. President Trump, hey, look, we're going to double down on our stupidity. Please do something. He says, fine, I'm going to do something. And now they're like, oh, shit, he's doing something. So it's like, come on, guys. Well, like, are we serious right now? Just, you can't make this stuff up, Tim. This is literally what's happening
No, I mean,
right now.
but here's the thing: you ask, and it is given, and then you're questioning the way it's being done.
Yeah.
So here's my thing: when people have all these opinions about what they should be doing or who should be doing what, my question is, why didn't you run for the presidency?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you have the solutions apparently to the problems, and you have a better grasp on this.
Mm-hmm.
So then why didn't you choose to do the same thing?
Right. And on top of that, Mayor Bowser, Bowser, and some of the city council members and the DA, they're now like, you know what? Maybe this wasn't a bad idea after all. At first, they were like, no, you can't do that. No, oh my God, he's taking over our shit. Now they're like, well, you know, this is actually pretty cool. You know, it's been pretty quiet the last few nights. Okay, who knew? Then now they change the tune
Yeah.
because they see the results of what could happen
Yes.
if they actually enforce the law, and it's just mind blowing to me. And Democrats do this. They there was a video clip by Prager University with Greg Gutfeld a few years back now, how he talks about, it takes Republican slash conservative policies to correct course of what Democrat policies do.
Yeah.
And I'm about to find that one night or one day and play that on the show here. And he is a very salient, succinct points that he makes that when Democrats have policies that hurt the community, they know it's hurting the community, but they have to double down on it. Otherwise, they would look like idiots. So they bank on the fact that the Republicans are going to come in and save them with their money and everything else and fix it for them. And then they go and they just perpetuate this cycle over and over again. This is why you see power change hands the way it does. And so it's just interesting to me. But I want to get into, you're in Nevada, Las Vegas type. I want to get into
Yes.
I want to get into what's going on in your state with because you have a Democrat governor, correct? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, we do. Hmm.
Are they talking about redistricting Nevada? Because I don't even think they have like that many Republicans.
Not really. Their main focus right now is trying to get the homeless off the street because they have some new developments, and they do. They have, they have all these new developments, and they really can't sell Vegas or these parts of Vegas unless they take care of the homeless situation. And so she's definitely working very hard to do things for the people, trying to deal with the homeless, trying to really be upfront with everything that's going on in the agenda of the White House now and all the questions that are being raised and the controversy. So the Democrats are working hard to keep everything intact. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you heard, the commercial or if you've seen Kamala come on talking about, or Kamala, excuse if I pronounce her name wrong, but
Kamala.
anyway, but she's coming on to encourage people to, to invest in the DNC, put their money into the organization, into the party, so that they can see the changes that they want to see occur. That's the latest and the greatest. So now they are positioning her to come forward to rally the group again to do what they did, or hopefully do something different in this next election. And so at the midterm, everybody starts getting ready around the midterm for the next election, for the presidential election. But, they've got a lot of things to fix. They really do. But I will say in California, they're doing a lot of redistricting. They did that. They've been doing that for some years. And that's only to, that really benefits them so that they can keep their voter base.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep moving the district lines, then you can get what you want out of the voting.
Right. And, the funny thing about the redistricting deal is that, like Nevada, well, let me back up. The homelessness crisis. The funny thing about that is President Trump came out, what was it now, 2 weeks ago, and said, I'm declaring that we're going to clean up the homelessness in America. And now people are like, oh, what does that mean? You can't do that. These people have a right to be homeless. It's like,
right, but see, well, wait a minute. All the people talked about the homeless situation and how it was affecting their lives. And then he does something about it, and then they're like, but you can't do that to another human being. Okay,
yeah,
pick your
exactly.
poison. What do you want to do?
Exactly. And that's the thing is anytime he says something, they automatically against it. He may say, I'm going to improve the air quality. You can't do that. We want dirty air. It's like, you people are stupid. And I think he's intentionally he has some trollers on his staff. I know he does. It's impossible to come up with the stuff on your own. He has trollers on his staff that tells him, hey, Mr. President, hey, tomorrow declare that you're going to clean up, America, and you're going to have street sweepers all over the place and see how people react. Type of thing. It has to be because to declare that you want to clean up the homelessness crisis and you want to clean up the streets from crime and everything else, and you have people who are adamantly against that, it makes no sense. It's like you should be applauding this. You should be like, how can I help? And then this is a great thing.
I'm saying,
it's
and I'm sure that whatever he builds is going to be beautiful anyway because he believes in beautiful things.
Yeah.
He doesn't like anything ugly. He likes gold. He likes marble. Hey, you might be going to, you know what I'm saying? If he builds it, it might be the best thing that you've ever lived in.
Yeah, that's true. And my thing is this. See, I can't remember if it was us talking about this or I remember having a conversation with a friend. But and we was talking about homelessness. It's because in Austin it's rampant. They all over the place. I said, I would do something totally different. I would scoop these jokers. Yeah, it was as a matter of fact a couple weeks ago. I was like, we'll scoop these jokers up in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day, depending on what's going on, and take them to a remote location and get them cleaned up. Whether it's against their will or not, I don't care. Because I love you. I love you that much.
Yeah, but
President Purham 2028. Here we go. No, I love you. That'd be my tagline. I love you.
As you shock people into the love. I love you, but you know what? I'm going to do this gorilla move right here, and I'm going to take you.
I love you. But that's the thing. That's the thing, though. Sometimes it's necessary. It's tough love, but I love you.
That's true.
And, but you're helping them whether they want it or not. And then also here's the caveat. Where's your family at? Where's your friends at? If you're in this desolated, situation and, you're homeless, you're jobless, you're on drugs and everything else, I'm sure you have family or, some friends out there somewhere that says, hey, I wonder about what's going on with Randy. Let me check on him. Let me give him a call and, check on him, or let me go find him type of thing. If that's not the case, then it should be the community that steps in and says, hey, you know what? Let's get you off the street. Let's bring you into, let me bring you to my living room. You can sleep on my couch. Let's figure this out. Let's see what's going on and this and the other. We don't do that as a society anymore. We'll drive up to that corner at the light and we see that person holding that can out or that bucket or hold their hand out asking for money, and we just roll down our window and give it to them. And the light changes and we go on about our business. We're perpetuating it. Go ahead.
Well, that, and we've got third-party organizations to handle that. There are so many organizations.
They're garbage. You're right. We got all these organizations that can handle it, but however, they do not. You have a board of directors all making, a six-figure salary when they only bringing in six figures, so they got to fight amongst themselves as who's going to get paid.
True.
And then the money is dried up. They haven't implemented any program. You don't see any action out of the program.
Because somebody stole the money, though. Somebody stole the money. Ignorant.
That is the story of the life of an organization. Somebody stole the money, and it's like, how did somebody steal the money? You had to know who stole the money because guess what? There's only like 2 or 3 people that's going to be in control of the money. You got the treasurer and the people that have access to the bank account. So y'all need to figure out amongst you 3 people who stole the fucking money. It's just that simple. But oh my God, this is a daytime show, y'all, and I am just going off right now. But this is real, though. This is real life, folks.
It's real life. I mean, we're not talking about something that doesn't exist.
Exactly.
We are coming at you raw. This is what we do.
This is what we do. But that's the thing that pisses me off. I have a nonprofit. I ain't raised a dime, except for what I put into it. I'm subconscious about it because it's like, do I want that scrutiny on me, or like, what are you doing with the money? And it's like, well, I haven't done anything with the money. Still sitting in the bank because there's nothing to do with the money yet. Because guess what? I'm not looking to do anything right now or to spend that money on just frivolous stuff. When I do bring in some money, it's going to go, you're going to see the fruits of that labor. Bottom line up front, you're going to see that, because that's just what I do. But at the end of the day, and I'm not doing it to make money. I'm not doing it for, self, profiteering. It's for the community when it's time to do it for the community type of thing. So you fail, these organizations fail at doing that. And if I was the government, I would be auditing. I would be going after these organizations like, okay, you said somebody stole the money. Let me see the books, and
Oh, yeah.
it'd be a done deal. It'd be a done deal, period, point blank. And
Yeah.
it's like, and then also the cities that are affected with these organizations. You two are in cahoots with each other because how is it possible that this organization exists in your city and you're not checking the balances, checking the books, checking to make sure that they're doing the right thing in your city? So that means that y'all are working together, or you're just being negligent in your duties to make sure that if they say that they're existing to help with these crises and you still have a crisis, something's wrong here. Period. The end. But I want to touch on redistricting because we're almost out of time already. I can't believe it's been 47 minutes. Redistricting. The Texas, we're still in the fight right now for redistricting. The Democrats still have not came home. It's crazy, but people are not understanding how this whole thing is working. The districts that's been redrawn actually still favors the Democrats in a way. Minorities. I just say that it still favors minorities. It's just a matter of whether or not those minorities will vote Democrat. That's the only question. And so Republicans are having a bad time with their messaging in terms of conveying to the American people now, because this is a national news headline. They're failing to convey to the American people that, look, if you just look at the map of how we redrew it compared to the old map, you will see that all we did was just break up the coalition districts and made them a little bit more confined. But yet at the end of the day, the populations didn't change. They're just now compressed into a more manageable district for said congressperson that would have that district versus here, like, okay, for example, 35, Congressional District 35. I like to use it as an example because that's where I live. And it's the most gerrymandered district in Texas, in my opinion. It runs from, and ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are following along here, it runs from South Austin, 35 corridor, to I-35 highway, expressway corridor. It runs literally from South Austin all the way down the corridor through 4 counties, mind you, into the downtown of San Antonio. That's an hour and a half to 2 hour drive, depending on the traffic, depending on what's going on. That's a 2 hour drive stretch, and it's a slither. And then you have the surrounding districts that's like this big and all this stuff, and it loops around the district and all that. So you got all this craziness these crazy shapes going on. But you have this little slither, and it spans in certain spots to capture a population of people that happen to be minority based. So you can't sit here and say that the district wasn't cut to favor a certain minority group or racial lines and stuff like that. You can't say that because it's a lie. You'll see it when you drive down that district that what's the predominant races that live in these areas. It is what it is. And and or the political affiliation, which also corresponds to the race at the end of the day. And so they broke that up, they split it, and they compressed it into 37 and made 35 a totally new district for the most part. And people are up in arms about it. I'm like this: if it was such a big deal, then, or I should say, if it's such a big deal, then you have to look at why it was done. Number one. Number two, if your policies and everything else was so great, the people in that district would still vote for you if you ran in that district. They'll still vote for you because you're doing a great job. You don't have to live in the district to run for Congress. So that's where I'm at on that. Your thoughts, ma'am?
Well, I know during the time that I ran, 2 years later, they did the redistricting, right? And so where I lived, I couldn't say that I was part of that district. Now, 2 years later, they redistrict. And now that I'm not running for office, and I didn't run for office after that, and then the 2 years later, I can now, if I wanted to run again, I could run because I'm in that district. As a matter of fact, the district that I ran for, which was District 30, has now become District 28, and that's because of redistricting, and that was in California. So, yeah, they are moving the boundary lines. They are moving those lines to support the voting and to support their winning.
Yeah.
I think, but this is, you know what, this is a battle that constantly goes on, every administration. And it's everyone's talking about the election. Every election, it looks like it's been rigged, or we didn't get the right amount of people, or, And then, they were talking about Hillary and the Russian collaboration she had to help her get the voting population that she got at that time that she ran.
Yeah.
So it's, like I said, it's been something for years that has been in discussion, but nobody knows really how to fix it. Like, how do we fix this problem? How do we really fix it? Because, redistricting, it's like it sides with one party, then depending on what state you're in.
True.
And, people want to say that the Republicans run the nation, which is not exactly the case. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there's a large majority of states that are Republican, but as far as us running the country, no.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. We have a lot of red states. That's because of the governorship and the legislature is Republican led. But population wise, you stand hard pressed to pluck out a large majority of Republicans. You're just hard pressed. That's just the way it is, and it swings. Also, Texas is actually a swing state. Believe it or not. Yeah, we're consistently.
So is Nevada. Nevada's a swing state too.
Yeah.
And I know years ago. Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I know years ago, in 2016, 2018, something like that, we did swing it. We swung it back to Republican.
Yeah.
And then it swung to Democrats. And now we're trying to. People are, those swing states are always up for grabs.
True.
So someone's going to get it. Which party is going to get one of those swing states? And, Hillary Clinton didn't get hers because she didn't want to go to the states to even campaign.
Exactly.
So she didn't get it because she didn't go campaign.
Yeah, it was her campaign to loss. To lose, rather. It was her campaign to lose. You're right. And
that was on her. That wasn't because they were red states.
No, you're right. And Texas is the same way. Only reason why Texas has stayed red on paper, rather, for as long as it has, is because the swing voters lean red only because of the policies, the economic policies. This is an
Exactly.
oil-rich state. This is a energy-driven state, and they're like, okay, I like the low taxes. I like the economics of this. Although I'm a Democrat or although I'm an independent, I like these policies. I like these people and what they're doing in terms of my pocketbook. So I'm going to vote this way because these crazy bastards over here, yeah, no. They're going to raise my taxes and they're going to California. No, I'm good. I left California. I left New York so I can, have some generational wealth to build. And so that's why they vote the way that they do. But if you get the right candidates come along, they will vote for that candidate because they have that party affiliation at the end of the day. And so that's the one thing that I have to tell. I keep telling these Republicans, I'm like, don't take it for granted. Don't think that we're a red state. No. Look at the down ballot. Look at how it's going down. Just you got to pay attention to that. So it is what it is. So we'll see how things go come Friday. Whether we have sine die and go into a new session or things are going to get passed because the Democrats decide to get their head out their asses and they come to work and we get things done on Friday. We'll see. So, Tiff, final thoughts, and we're going to get up out of here.
Well, we talked about so much, huh? Today.
We did.
I just can't wait till we get on the other subject matter for a different time, a different show, because I really want people to find their purpose. Really, I do. Mm-hmm. But I really want to connect it to politics and how politics affects your life. Mm-hmm. You have to understand how this works. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't work against you. It doesn't. Yeah. So I think you and I really need to bring people to an understanding of how politics really affects their lives in a positive way.
True. Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. No doubt. We'll do that. Tiff, thank you so much, and be safe out there, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
There you go.
She froze for a second. I'm like, hello.
You just roll with it. You just flow.
Yes, absolutely. All right, ma'am. I'll catch you later on. I'll talk to you soon. Take care, and thanks again.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tiffany Jones hanging out with me today. Hey, on real talk, I tend to get, flabbergasted about the way things are going in our society, and this opportunity to take to talk about it, I tend to say what I feel. So it is what it is, folks. We got to do something. We got to fix our nation. We got to fix our society. We got to fix what's going on because it's just too crazy. It's just mind blowing. But all right, folks, I'm gonna jump up out of here. I got some stuff to get go take care of today, and so I need to get on that. All right, I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Be safe, and I'll catch y'all next week. Take care. God bless. I hope you enjoyed today's program. You can follow, like, share, subscribe on Spotify, Substack, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and your news. And also, you can download Let the Truth Be Told app on your favorite streaming platforms, such as Fire Stick, Apple TV, and Roku. Take care. God bless.